Governmental Civil Engineering. Like in all sectors of the economy, integration pandemic is tough challenges in the construction sector too. National international obligations are understood and analyzed to identify the ensuing crisis. Situations similar to this have not been experienced in our time. However, we need to overcome these barriers to move forward efficiently. Because we have a construction sector, an honor for me to introduce Dr. Shri. He's a person with a lot of accomplishments in awards and professional experience in the field of sustainable structure. Dr. and Chairman of Technology and in South Asia, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Nigeria. Architect, writer, and he advocates the use of locally available materials, sustainability, eco-friendliness, and cost-effectiveness in construction. He draws inspiration from the renowned architect Lori Beto and has taken up the mission to involve the people in every step of the building process. His sensitivity to the needs of the common, the marginalized, Islam elders, and the tribal, all people's architect. Also, the chairman of the National Committee constituted by the Government of India to formulate the guidelines on disaster resistant awarded Padma Shri services in the field of science and technology by Government of 2011. Practical suggestions and methods for converting the challenges to opportunities. Now it's a privilege to invite Padma Shri Dr. Shankar to take the floor. Thank you, sir.
Namaste. It gives me immense pleasure and I take it as a privilege to address you all. Thank you for the opportunity given. Thank you, Dr. Mini, who invited me to this conference. Thank you, Amrita Group of Institutions. And last few weeks, I've been talking to students across the country on the kind of prospects, on the kind of chances that you have, and the rest of it. It gives me immense pleasure because of one reason. We are going through a challenging time. Some of them call it as disaster time. But I thought for you people, especially the aspirants who are looking at prospects of civil engineering, engineering as a discipline, you have this extremely fruitful time now because you can contemplate, you can meditate, you can actually think about the options. I mean, in the history, I'm telling you, in the history, when I was studying after my pre-degree, those days, after my 12th, I had to rush to take a career decision. Here, you have finished your 12th examinations and you've got a lot of time to contemplate, look at the chances, look at the prospects, make a decision yourself. I mean, so every disaster, I've been working in disaster field for the last 25, 30 years. Disaster always gives you opportunity. So take it as an opportunity to sit back, relax, contemplate, meditate about the prospects and your career choices. You are going to be a very critical career choice now. Very critical career choice. This is going to either make your life or break it. So that is the criticality of the whole thing. Make a decision. I'm telling you because I've been working in the field for the last 30 and odd years. And whatever I'm going to share with you, whatever concepts that I'm going to share with you are my own life experiences. I say it with such conviction because I've traveled this distance. I say it with such values. It's an honest statement that I'm going to make. It's going to be a truthful statement. I don't want to sell a dream, I don't want to sell a dream to you. In my career, basically, I'm an architect and I always make sure that I don't sell dreams. So here also, let me tell you that I don't want to paint a very rosy picture, talk about the endless thing. I'm going to do a truthful picture where life can take you as an engineer. The first and foremost thing for an engineer, let me just get into the paradigm of engineering before I go to the paradigm of civil engineering. Engineers are there everywhere. I'm telling you, you go to any institution, half of the people who are working there are engineers. Look at the foremost service sector in the country, civil services. You look at the people who are there, half of them are from engineering colleges across the country, which means they are really wanted, they have the knowledge, they have the skills, they are very good team players, and they are very good team leaders. That's what makes our breed, our creed, very different and wanted. We should feel very happy if we choose engineering as your career. Now, what are the things that we look for as an engineer? One, probably the most important factor is to have kind of job satisfaction. End of the day, you and me are looking for peace, contentment, and in a way, happiness. We are in search. Half the time, half of your lifetime, you are going to be in a working environment, whether that can be at an office, whether you are at the site. You are going to spend half of your lifetime in the working environment, not in your house. The working environment is very, very important. And not only that, the work that you do is going to be very critical in the sense of giving you happiness. When you get into the field, and if you feel that you are contributing something good, not only for you, but for the family, for the nation at large, then I think you'll have a very meaningful journey ahead. Let me tell you with such conviction that no other profession, let me tell you, no other profession other than engineering gives you this kind of job satisfaction. So job satisfaction is one of the major criteria. You know, whenever as an architect, as an engineer, whenever I select materials and technologies for my building, I have a set of parameters to decide about, we look at the strength, we look at the durability, we look at the insulation, we look at the appropriateness, we look at the sustainability factors, we look at lots of parameters like whether they're eco-sensitive, they're energy efficient, and things like that. So when you look at, I have my own parameters for choosing engineering as a career. And one of the foremost things is obviously job satisfaction. Another thing is the variety of career opportunities that we have, Amazing spectrum. I'm telling no other profession in the world. No other profession in the world will give you such an amazing spectrum of career opportunities. I'll just read out the names of 2-3 people. Just look at that. Neil Armstrong. I'm sure you must have heard of Neil Armstrong, who went to the moon, and in 1969, he put his footmark on the moon. Who was he? Neil Armstrong is basically an engineer. Jimmy Carter, who went on to become the president of America, United States, he was also an engineer. Forget about the politicians, the administrators, and the scientists. I'm sure we are all very, hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Yes. You must have all heard of Alfred Hitchcock. And who was Alfred Hitchcock? Alfred Hitchcock was a filmmaker, one of our favorite filmmakers. He was also an engineer. Aishwarya Roy, our favorite film actor, she is basically an architect. So, you look at the spectrum of amazing opportunities. You think that engineers will become engineers only, but they are all over the world, and the spectrum, amazing spectrum of career opportunities, something that we need to really look at. And it also gives you challenges. You need challenges, you need props, you need something to look forward to. Which other profession will give you such challenges in the world? You need challenges. You need challenges to get on with your work. You need, every day we want to face new challenges so that we can overcome it. That is probably what takes life forward, And no other environment, I'm telling you, no other environment other than engineering, get kind of challenges, motivation to go forward. And it's an amazing experience, I'm telling you. As an engineer, you are going to be the chosen ones because you have done your studies well, and that is why you are aspiring to get into engineering discipline. When you talk about engineering discipline, we want some food for our intellect, isn't it? We want some food for our intellect. We should keep you on. We want to develop it, develop our brains, and look at new challenges. Every discipline in engineering actually gives you food for intellectual development, which is amazing, and which should really make this career choice easier for you. I don't know whether you know about that. I've been working with societies. I had been trying to promote people-centered strategies, engineering interventions all my life. Through my buildings, I'm trying to reach the various sections of society, including the traditional fishermen, Dalits, tribal people, people who are living on the margins, people who are dispossessed, completely marginalized kind of people. Now, engineering gives you so many avenues to reach them. Let me put it in another way. Through engineering, you can reach out. Through engineering, you can hold hands. Through engineering, you can serve people in many, many, many ways. Don't you think that that's an exciting thing to do? How can you get related to society? Society is actually supporting you in very big way. India is going through very difficult times. And through your interventions as an engineer, you can actually do many, many meaningful interventions in society. I'm sure, some of the youngsters must be wondering, that is okay, but what about the money part of it? Whether everybody, people who come to me after engineering, some of them are not really ready to wait. They look at some of the sectors, other sectors, which gives them fat salaries. Everybody, you and me, we need to feed ourselves. We need to have economic opportunities. There's no doubt about that, economic opportunity. It will come, but we may have to wait. But besides that, let me also assure you, that the kind of money, if you need money, it's your life choice. If you need money, there are plenty of opportunities. Right from the start, you're going to be paid, and you're going to be better paid than most of the other professionals. And in the end, you will be probably one of the persons who can ask for more and more money, which means economic opportunities are immense. Your salaries you can have very fat salaries, especially, in India, I know many people, initially they start slow, but as you go up, as you specialize, as you go up, the kind of money that an engineer makes is nobody's business. They make such a lot of money. Now, financial security is something. Also look at the prestige part of it. When I joined engineering way back in late 1970s, when I got to an engineering college, I was so happy for one reason. I could flaunt my T-scale. I could go out in the public buses, flaunting the T-scale and the drawing instrument and things like that. And everybody would look at me and say, wow, he's an engineering student, which meant I belong to another class society. That prestige is still there. My dear friends out there, young friends out there, the prestige of this profession is still there. When you're an engineer, you're rated high. You are going to be an opinion leader. and thereby you are going to be a society disaster. The professional environment in which I will dwell on that a little later is going to be very critical. I talked about intellectual development, I talked about George Sachs, etc., etc. But the kind of professionals that you are going to deal with, the professional atmosphere that you are going to, set of challenges that you are going to face, the set of problems that you're going to solve, it is that thing probably that will lend you some meaning. The professional environment is also very, very critical. The world is changing fast, In 2001, 99, 2000, when I was just looking at this thing, so many things were happening, The last 25, 30 years of my own life, I have seen the world changing so fast and so the pace has been amazing. The intensity of change has been extraordinary, spectacular, which means technology is changing. Everything is changing. I mean, look at the digital world that we are in. Did we ever think that this is the platform on which probably we are going to meet sometime? The world is changing. Every discipline of engineering is changing. It's posing new and new challenges. And when there is these kind of challenges, you'll feel very happy. You'll feel very... And end of it, let me tell you, is the creativity and innovation that is going to be, the point that's going to make you very different. Innovation and creativity, unless you are creative and unless you are innovative, and which other discipline, I'm telling you, which other discipline gives you so much of scope for innovation and creativity is engineering and engineering alone. People ask me, what is it that makes engineers so special? There are many reasons. I'm an employer. I belong to a non-profit sector, but I employ hundreds of engineers and architects. Let me tell you, engineers are different because of 3-4 reasons. One, the analytical faculty that you develop as an engineering student, that makes you very different. Wherever you go, whichever organization you work for, they look for 2-3 qualities. One of the major qualities is looking at analytical part of it. You are being presented a challenge, a problem. How do you analyze? And how do you seek a way out? How do you propose a way out? How do you devise a way out? Is something that's very critical. You actually, through the subjects, you develop analytical skills. All the engineering subjects that you're going to learn next 4 to 5 years are going to develop the analytical skills. Very, very important. That is why they walk into any institutions and become successful. They walk into the bank, they went into the insurance system, they walk to the civil services, they walk to the international development organization. They become highly successful with their engineering background because you can analyze. The analytical skills are going to develop during these 4 years of work. No other curriculum, no other academic curriculum will give you that kind of anything. Second is the mathematical skill. You need to have a better mathematical ability, mathematical understanding about the world at large, because it all linked with economics and rest of it. As you go along, you will learn about the importance of mathematics in your life. We need mathematics. If you need development, technology and science, we need mathematics. Faculty, no other engineering faculty gives you such an exposure on mathematical things. And world over, let me also tell you, you may not be actually working at this site, doing the worker's job. No, you are going to be a manager. And all through this, what are the skills that are needed for a manager? You need to probably lead a team. You need to be a good team player. You need to take decisions. You need to have that creativity and innovation that will make you stand apart. You need all that. You need to articulate things well. And I think this is the only discipline that can really take you forward. managers, that's why the world needs some. Let me make a statement which will really motivate you, inspire you. Without engineers, the world would not survive. We make the world. We engineers, we make the world. We create the built-up environment. It's not about habitats. The entire infrastructure is based on engineering, and we move the world. Engineers move the world. We not only make the built-up environment, we move the world. We develop the world the way the earth is, the transition phase that is going on. So we are responsible. We are the creators. Don't you feel happy about it? We are going to be the creators. We make the transport systems that move people. What do you do? All the transport systems, right from the air travel to the pedestrian ways, we make them. We move people. We are primarily responsible for the transport system. The infrastructure, kind of infrastructure, dams, roads, bridges, buildings, machines, automobiles, everything is being made by engineers on engineering platforms. So we are responsible for the infrastructure. We make machines. Now we are going through COVID times. Who makes these critical machines to life-saving machines? It's us. It's the engineering faculty that makes it. Right from food processing to kind of life-saving devices, there's a critical engineering part to it. They call it biomedical engineering and the rest of it. But we make it as it. We should be very happy about it. I don't have to dwell on like we make the digital world. We make the digital world, computer, the rest of it, the digital, all the apps, all the infrastructure facilities that we have in the digital world. We make it. So, in short, let me tell you that we move the world, we develop the world, and we are primarily responsible for development. Coming to the civil engineering faculties and strengths of civil engineering, let me tell you that we are the people again who move the world. We are the people who are going to make the built-up environment. We are responsible. As it is, you're going to join a bandwagon that talks about creativity, innovation, original thinking, and the rest of it. Don't you want to join that exciting bandwagon? The opportunity is now, here and now. I know that you have several apprehensions, kind of thoughts, critical thoughts, whether civil engineering is good or any other engineering is good for you. I'm telling you, and this is what I told you in the beginning, 30 years of journey, I should feel very happy and very privileged, proud to tell you that I've enjoyed every minute of my journey. Every minute of my journey, because it has given me challenges, a lot of things to look forward and things like that. Now, civil engineering, when you look at civil engineering, I told you, you are going to be responsible for the infrastructure, right from the roads to bridges to irrigation to, there are ever so many things. I will list out a few options for you, which probably after graduation, at a post-grad level, you can look at it and take your interest forward. It's an age of specialization. But very basic civil engineering will actually give you enough knowledge to become a specialist. When I say that, I say it with conviction. You don't have to even do a master's to become a specialist in some field. What are the options? This is just to make open many of options for you, many of options. You are going to choose, and you are going to, don't get frightened now, because I know you're too young to make a decision now. Probably your parents, the people around you will help you to make a decision. But I just wanted you to come with me for a journey that will take you to amazing vistas of civil engineering. One of the critical this thing. I mean, you look at the infrastructure. We need to look at the soil on which we are going to base the building, bridge, whatever it is, it's going to be put on soil, put on Mother Earth. We need to know whether the Mother Earth can hold the weight. I mean, we are talking about a heavy element sitting on a Mother Earth. And when it rains, if the strata is not able to take the load, what will happen? That itself is a specialization in engineering. They call it soil mechanics. In India, for instance, I am telling you, there are 100 stratas of different kinds of soils. Each strata, needs different kinds of intervention in kind of foundations and things like that. Where it's very soft, clay kind of thing, probably piles. You need 101 varieties of foundation to face this issue, address this issue. Soil, just looking at the structure of soil, that's the science of soil. The engineering part of it, it becomes a specialization in itself. It's called soil mechanics. Soil mechanics. Every structure needs to be stable. It has to be strong. It has to be durable. So what do? You get into structural engineering, which is offshoot of civil engineering. You learn about it. You learn about how to design a structure in difficult situations, disaster situations. How do you really make a good structure? Structure is needed for anything. Structural engineering is a critical element when you build a bridge, when you pave a road. There's an engineering part of it. Structural engineering in itself will become an exciting avenue for you to move ahead. Let me also make probably a provocative, outrageous statement. There are only a few good structural engineers in this country. You need to develop that potential because disaster times are coming. Every structure needs to respond to the challenging times. We need thousands and 10,000s of structural engineers in this country. Civil engineers are the only people who can make good structural engineers. We need 10,000s of them because buildings are coming in the range of millions. And if you don't have at least 10,000 more specialist structural engineers, there's going to be calamity. I told you about the disaster times. If you want to survive disasters, you need to have a good civil engineering background. We say disasters don't kill people, but structures do, buildings do. People get trapped and people get killed. You need to have a different kind of a paradigm for disaster mitigation, disaster resistant technologies. Huge scope for people who are working in this thing, not only in the academic institutions and the local thing, internationally, because the world is facing such a thing, internationally, you will be wanted. We say that we are responsible for the built environment. And as it is, we have to realize that what is the relationship? I said, we are responsible for the buildings and the infrastructure. As it is, we are responsible to keep the Mother Earth green. Green technologies are coming. As you go along this stream, you'll find that environmental engineering is going to be one of the exciting emerging fields in the world to come. The green ratings are all around, and very soon, probably in 10 years' time, green technologies are going to be the mandatory thing. Get into the bandwagon first, because it's the early birds that get all the feed. Get into environmental engineering. Get into environmental management. Civil engineers are the best people to get into that. Environmental management is again going to be one of the emerging needs, critically emerging needs in the days to come. I don't know whether you have seen that as students, you might have seen that. we talk about quantity survey on one part. Quantity survey is, looking at the estimates of the buildings and taking out the quantities of materials and rest of it. That's actually what is called quantity surveying. Probably in the second year, third year, you will start about, they are called estimators, they are called quantity survey, no less than an engineer. They are engineers, but specialized in quantity survey. Huge. If you are a quantity surveyor, you will be paid it in millions, especially in Middle East countries and metro cities, Mumbai, Chennai, and the rest of them. If you are a good quantity surveyor, I am telling you, you'll be paid very hefty sums as salaries. Estimators are a wonder breed. Quantity survey is a wonder discipline. Now, when I say that quantity survey is a wonder discipline, let me also take it to another district. It's quite exciting. People ask me, digital surveying, earlier when I was studying, we used to do all kinds of plastic surveying, plane table surveying. We used to initially take chain and survey, and those things are all gone. Now we are talking about a very, very small machine. It's called protestation. With that small machine, we measure large areas. Digital surveying, and Google survey, as they call it, GPS and the rest of it, they are going to be the things in the days to come. For everything, every infrastructure facility that you need to put up at some point of time, let's say, bridge or a road or a building, you need to survey these things, and you need to have a very detailed survey of things. Survey, digital survey, is going to be another exciting field, specialization in civil engineering. Forget about all these things. Let me take you to two interesting disciplines. You must have heard of public health engineering, which talks about good service systems, talking about good sanitation, good plumbing, and things like that. It has become a huge specialization the world over. The world over, they have become huge specialized area. I don't have to dwell at length about the scope and specificity of the job that you're going to have. It's going to be tremendous. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be lucrative. Unbelievable opportunities are waiting for you as a public health engineering, especially, we are going through COVID times now. In the coming years, probably, all these things are going to be very critical. You are wearing masks. You are actually using sanitizer all the time, washing. It has got, in the years to come, it will have a more critical linkage to public health engineering. Because public health engineering is going to be the moving force behind all these health systems, and we should be happy that we are getting engaged with that. As a civil engineer, half of you, probably 50% of you, may be moving to the conventional paradigm of building. Building as a consultant, as a builder, as a social entrepreneur, you'll be probably getting into this thing. Most important thing is that we are talking about management, developing management skills in civil engineering. When I talk about that, I talk about project management and construction management. Go to any big builder, you will have one project manager for each of the sites. Big apartment complexes, which talks about 300, 400 dwelling units. You need to have a good project manager or a construction manager. Construction management is going to be another emerging field in the discipline of civil engineering. Because time is going to be very critical. Time is going to be the most critical part in management. You need to finish the building in time. You need to finish the bridge in time. You need to finish the dam in time. Everything has to be time related, because there can be very critical cost outruns. The cost can go haywire if time element is not respected. For time element, there are many management systems only an engineer can decipher. It talks about, I don't want to go at length, especially the student. There was labor management, material management, time management, the rest of it. You need a lot of tools to manage time and resources. And resources, very critical resources, wastage, maintenance, rest of it. And construction management is going to be extremely thriving opportunity in this. You can be a good construction manager. And the minimum salaries, I don't reel out the salaries for the construction, and very few institutions that give master's specialization in construction management. And even at a basic level, you don't have to go for master's again. Let me tell you that. As a basic civil engineer, you can actually go into this field and your experience will give you a lot of lessons. And this is an exciting thing. The world is changing. You see, one of the challenges that we are facing as practitioners during especially this COVID time is that we are looking at one building, that came up in China in 17 to 18 days. I'm sure some of you must have seen that. A building, a multi-story building, 18 days? Yes, that's the answer. Yes, such technologies are coming up and they're going to revolutionize the building sector. Prefab buildings are probably going to come. Do-it-yourself technologies are going to come. And if you want to do such things, you need civil engineers. Only civil engineers do it. Only they have the expertise to do it. Only they will have the professional expertise to do it. So, emerging things like prefab technologies are coming, and you should be very happy that you're looking at all these emerging opportunities, potential, and promise of your own this thing. Let me also, tell you, everybody is looking at opportunities. What is the thing that awaits me if I become a civil engineer? Is the primary question that's in front of you. I told you about the kind of specialization. When I was very young, and there were only general dentists. You go to a dentist, a doctor, dental doctor, and you'll find him doing every kind of thing. They will examine the teeth, they will clean the teeth, they will do the cosmetic, and there is no specialization. But this is an age of specialization. And I was talking about the kind of specialization that can happen in your own career as a civil engineer. It's an amazing spectrum. Let me reiterate that amazing because that's going to take you to magical vista. It's a magical world that is going to emerge, open up in front of you. And let me reiterate that civil engineers, they make the world. They make the world. They move the world and be a part of that history. Now, a lot of people ask me about the career opportunities. And after you take the degree, 5 years degree in engineering, in civil engineering, what is the opportunity for you? It's a time of globalization. A lot more opportunities are coming up. A lot more interdisciplinary opportunities are going to come up. You can actually choose your way. You go to, probably not at the initial stage, the third year, fourth year, you go to your campus placement service. I'm sure Amrita has a very, very strong campus recruitment scheme. Takes almost everybody in, And then you will realize that there are ever so many opportunities for a civil engineer. Even, let me conclude my statement by even the IT companies, even the IT infrastructure companies, they look for civil engineers for their own reasons. It's quite interesting. You have to discover it yourself. Why do they need civil engineers you're not learned computer science as a specialization, you're not learned. Civil engineers are kind of jack of all trades. And even IT faculties, they need civil engineers for very strange reasons. Probably because of analytical thinking, you become better team players, you become team leaders and things like that. So even that should really make you less apprehensive. There are ever so many avenues for employment. If you're looking at employment, ever so many. I don't want to go at length, but let me tell you, Indian Railways, you just Google and find out how many engineers they take per year. Every state, every department, our own PWD, Public Source Department, at the central level and the state level, they take every year they take hundreds of engineers. It's not only conventional PWD, we have a public health department, we have town planning department, we have lots of institutions, government institutions connected to civil engineering. In my own state, I come from Kerala, and Kerala, there are 100 institutions. Believe me, there are 100 government institutions who have civil engineers in their district, payrolls. More than 100 pure civil engineering disciplines. Talk about water management, talk about earth management, earth sciences, talk about science and technology, PWD, commercial irrigation, local self-government. Everyone needs a civil engineer with us. Kerala, for instance, we have around 1,000 panchayats. And all the 1,000 panchayats, we have a very strong engineering department. So, you look at the scope that we have. In the irrigation department, the public health department controls water authority. Earlier it was water authority. Now it is basically a civil engineering faculty that they need. So immense opportunity, not only in the government, there are ever so many public PSUs that are available. All the PSUs, semi-government institutions, they also need a number of engineers. So there are ever so many hundreds and thousands of opportunities that exist. The government, PSUs, I don't have to talk about private establishments. You look at your own cities from where you're coming. It's coming from Coimbatore, for instance. I'm sure there are at least 200 to 300 private establishments which take civil engineers into the portfolio, builders, rest of them, who take civil engineers in the portfolio. Every industry needs infrastructure specialists. So every industry in Coimbatore is basically an industrial town. And all the industries, they need civil engineers to move the machinery. They need civil engineers to build up the infrastructure and things like that. It's an emerging city. And there are new domains that are emerging. I belong to one of them. I belong to non-profit sector, community-based organizations. Where else in the world do you have such a lot of opportunity? Even community-based organizations, they take engineers because we talk about sustainable engineering all the time, we talk about sustainable interventions all the time, and it's the civil engineers that make very critical intervention. Looking at the international arena, the world is globalizing, and we don't have to look at Coimbatore, we don't have to look at Tamil Nadu, we have to look much beyond that, beyond South India, beyond North India. The world is a small village now. Civil engineers, they are there everywhere. I'm telling you because one of my close friends, a junior to me, he's heading the United Nations Armed Force Disaster Mitigation. One of my interns who worked with me for a few months, he's the president of the shelter division World Bank at international level. People are going places. International development organizations open their gates. You talk about UNICEF, you talk about UNESCO, you talk about UNIDO, you talk about any UN, including UN Habitat, they will have plenty of opportunities for civil engineers because United Nations, all the international development organizations like World Bank, I'm sure you must be knowing that in Tamil Nadu when a disaster strikes, the World Bank comes in, all the United Nations arms come in, Red Cross come in, and to build up the infrastructure, it's the infrastructure that get affected first, it's the roads that get eroded, it's the buildings that get collapsed. So every intervention like that needs civil engineers to come back and repair it, mitigate the risk, build up new structures. And international development organizations throughout the doors open. At an international level, this is kind of opportunities that you have. Forget about both these avenues of opportunity. Look at the academic institutions. We need good civil engineers to teach people. And therefore, so many engineering colleges, academic institutions are there across the country now. India is going through an exciting, challenging time, and civil engineering has gained strength over the years, and people are flocking to it in our own state. It is this discipline that gets filled up very fast, you know. This discipline, more than anything else, it is this discipline that actually gets filled up fast, and the kind of opportunities in the academic institutions is something that should make you happy, contented, and more peaceful. I would suggest that you look at another career opportunity. Be the creator of your own destiny. What do you mean by that? You can be a social entrepreneur. You can build up an institution in yourself. You can actually start, for instance, a factory for producing some of the prefab elements, some building components. You can develop an institution that trains people in the basic skills. These are avenues that I'm sure you must have thought about. Skilling India is a big challenge for the government. Migrant laborers are slowly going back. We need to probably get back the legacy of civil engineering back to our states. We need to give them training. We need to develop training institutions for bettering the skills of artisans. Who will do that? Civil engineers will do it. So right from there, to very simple task of taking up work from your is going to be probably tune of the day. You don't have to work for anybody. You can work for yourself and make money if you want. If you really decide that this is the kind of salary, this is the kind of income that you have in your business, no other field will give you such an opportunity. And just make it very, very, very simple for you. You take up the construction work for just 2 residences in a year. 2 residences which might cost around 2 residences together, that cost around 1 crore rupees. And the legitimate return that you get, let me underline that, but legitimate return that you get out of this is 10%. Government allows 10% contractors' profit. Just look at it. 2 buildings a year, which means you don't have to spend even 2 hours a day for these kind of works. You're probably going to need to manage it from home, go to the site at times, manage people, manage materials, manage money. And you know the kind of return, legitimate return that you can make out of it is more than 1 million rupees per year. For a start, don't you think it's good money, good opportunity? And you are a social entrepreneur yourself. You don't have to work for anybody else. You can design your life. I just talk about 2 buildings. In the years to come, it can be many, many fold. Take up contracts, you can be a builder, you can run a factory, you can run institutions like that. So, in short, let me conclude this session because I need to interact with the students at class. In short, we are looking at opportunities that actually will give lot of scope for you. Life is in front of you. For people like me, more than half the life have gone. Life is in front of you. You have to achieve. And for achievement, no other discipline of engineering. I'm telling you because I'm sure some of you may be looking at other disciplines of engineering. I don't want to cast a shadow of them, but I'm telling you, very soon you will realize that some of the aspirations are going to be like bubbles which can burst. They are not going to be stable. All these disciplines that you have in mind, probably which will give you better economic opportunities in the beginning, are going to be transient. We are going through several crises in the near future, in the near past, like the near future also is going to come. I don't want to name the disciplines, you know it, which gives you maximum economic benefits. Economic benefits, let it come little slow. You become academically oriented now, finish your course, then decide. Pursue your dreams, and you are going to become a very happy civil engineer. You will never regret that decision. Some of you, I wish if I have motivated you enough, and you are going to take civil engineering with passion and compassion as your life, you're going to make a career. It's not only a career option that you're going to make. You are going to make a life option. This option that you are going to make, I told you in the beginning, is either going to make your life or break your life. But hold my hand. Let me tell you, as a person who has walked this distance before, 30 to 35 years in the profession, let me tell you with such conviction that I have enjoyed every minute of this day. Come confident, go your way, choose the civil engineering as a favorite discipline, favorite area of study for you. Thank you. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Now I'm waiting for some questions to happen. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, sir, for the informative session. Dear participants, we have 10 to 15 minutes for the question and answer. So kindly drop in all your questions at the Q&A dashboard. And sir, there is one query which has been popping up during the presentation. It is like, what is the difference between BTech and civil engineering and BArch?
Let me answer that first. Yeah. BArch is basically a degree in architecture that is actually limited to design of buildings. Civil engineering goes much beyond that. Civil engineering deals with designing in the sense you need to realize this dream. Architecture is basically a dream, it's something on the paper. But if you want to build it, if you want to execute it, you need to analyze it properly, you need to have a construction management schedule to it, you need to structurally design it, and then you need to execute it. Architects are not capable of designing that. I mean, going through this process. If we are talking about process, the civil engineers who realize the dreams for architects. So that is the basic difference between architecture and civil engineering. Civil engineering per se, as I told you before, I mean, architecture, the scope, I mean, I'm basically an architect, let me tell you that. The scope of civil engineering is much more varied, much more challenging, and much more exciting because, and if you're looking at security and safety of the profession, probably civil engineers have many more avenues to succeed themselves. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And there is another question by a participant stating that can we build a structure that can be destroyed by any natural calamity?
As a person who had been working in the disaster section for the last 30 years, I don't think anybody in the world has done more work than me because I work across the world. Yeah, and let me tell you this with such conviction that at the hub of the disaster, I mean, we call it the eye of the disaster, eye of the storm, and things like that. At the hub of this thing, probably nothing can be saved because the reverberations that it can create, especially the earthquake, can create the impact that the floods can destroy the building. But elsewhere, everything can be saved. Infrastructure, roads, bridges, dams, including buildings can be saved very easily by using disaster mitigating structures. I'll just briefly tell you about, some of the buildings that probably you're going to see in the future. In Tokyo, in Japan, in various parts of Kobe and the rest of it, every year Japan gets affected by first by earthquakes, then tsunamis coming, cyclones coming, floods coming. Japan is a group of islands, so every calamity hits Japan very, very hard, very hard. Every year is going to be, it's like calendar event for Japan. And all the infrastructure have surveyed very beautifully well because they look at it. And this is to tell my young friend that you design it proper. That itself is a huge specialty now. The world needs disaster specialists, engineering specialists, and civil engineers make the best of them. And yes, everything can be protected around the periphery. And I'm saying it with conviction because I myself have done several hundreds of buildings in disaster areas. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. There is a question from Sujay. Yes, in that some of the students are ready to be entrepreneur in civil engineering field, like whether what I design or construct will be good. Need advice for them.
This is what I was talking a few minutes earlier. To me, when I look at the generation of young people, I think social entrepreneurship, industrial entrepreneurship is probably the way out. Because at the other levels, it probably is going to be a little uncertain. It's an age of uncertainty. But if you become the boss of your destiny, if you decide to create something on your own, there can be no mistake. Let me also tell you, the market is so huge. If you're talking about India, we are seeing millions of buildings every year. Look at it, millions of buildings every year. And all of them need materials. All of them need some kind of facility. So if you can get into these kind of, looking at the facilities, providing them, it's an immense, it can be immensely successful, let me tell you that, because there are two things. One is you have to have quality control, you have to have the discipline. That is why probably China is taking over. When they talk about entrepreneurship, I had several opportunities to go abroad, looking at Chinese facilities. And, when you go into a factory, for instance, textile factory, the workers, there are thousands in a line. They don't even look at you. They don't even look at you. They will get immersed in the work itself. It's a work culture, it's very different. So if India can imbibe that spirit of work, dedication, quality control is a huge thing. If we can give things that are much superior in quality and lesser cost, and if you look at cost, this is what I tell social entrepreneurs. These times give you so many challenges. You have to look at cost-sensitive solutions. You have to look at energy-efficient solutions. The world is looking for that, and civil engineers should give them, provide answers for that. We need energy efficiency at the household level. We need energy efficiency at the institution level. And who else can give that? It is civil engineer who should look at it. And there can be ever so many exciting interventions that a social entrepreneur can have. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, there is another question. How civil engineering can be contributed to this current situation? Like, how can they contribute towards society after COVID situation?
Let me tell you, I run a non-profit institution, which is probably the largest in South Asia. I told you, we employ hundreds of engineers with us, civil engineers with us, because I'm basically an architect and we build buildings. When I was facing COVID in the first few weeks, it was kind of, I got a lonely feeling. I was thinking how the organization will go forward. but the times are actually giving exciting answers, amazing answers. I was sad for a few days, and then, things started appearing. A lot of people, I don't know whether you know about my portfolio thing. Kindly go back and look at my name and Google, and you will find out the kind of buildings that I build. I build only sustainable buildings. I build only cost efficient, energy efficient, and eco-sensitive buildings. But having said that, who are the people who are coming to me? Last few weeks, last 5 weeks, I'm seeing a definite pattern appearing. Can you do me a building for 5 lakhs? Can you do me a building for 10 lakhs? Max 20 lakhs? These kind of opportunities are coming. So can you deliver a house? Can you build and hand over a house for 20 lakhs, less than 20 lakhs? These challenging times. Can you do that? I'm telling you, we can do it. And this is going to be affordable housing is probably going to be the way forward. Don't look at massive infrastructures now. We'll give small little houses that can contain a lot of happiness, peace, and will give you a lot of light and ventilation. A safe and secure place to stay. This is the future for us. Whereas, this is why I had several opportunities in my own career, where I was offered, jobs in the international development organizations. I studied abroad, and those days, 35 years back, I had the conviction and courage to tell them that, no, India is my country, and I want to come back, and I want to hold hands. I've been doing that for the last 35 years. And let me also reiterate these words. Where else in the world will you get such a domain to hold hands with people? And these times are disease times, critical times, where you need to hold hands with society, build small houses, small infrastructure. I've been always talking about transitional area. Let me talk about Coimbatore per se. There are places around Coimbatore like Avinashi, Madikkarai, and every place like that. These are transitional areas. They're not towns per se. I mean, they're small towns, not the scale of Coimbatore, but these are the areas where you're going to build. These transitional areas will need small hospitals, small infrastructure, small commercial complexes, small shops. For the first time in our life, we are realizing the value of neighborhood facilities, small facilities. And this is going to be the future of India. This is going to be the future directions of civil engineering in the building sector. I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm looking forward, and I want again you to join this domain of world of happiness. Thank you.
Really inspiring, sir. I happen to read that you have been also called as the people's architect. Now I got to know why it is.
Thank you.
Sir, there are questions like what is the difference you felt in the constructions abroad as well as in India?
I will answer. I'll probably take one more question, and then we'll wind up because it's past 12. Now, what is the difference between the construction systems and the construction systems in India? India, I mean, it's a different dynamics. I mean, it's a different process that we are talking about India abroad. I had experience in both the worlds, and I should be able to tell you the difference. Now, India, I mean, as a person who is working in the non-profit sector, India, when you look at India's economy, Indian social sector, is the largest employment provider. Construction industry is the largest employment provider. So my feeling is that, and India is going to unprecedented crisis, in terms of depletion of natural resources. India, the basic thrust now onwards should be how to, harness the synergies of environmental development and possible sustainable development. Elsewhere, people are not so much concerned about it. And they use to be, for instance, excessive use of cement, excessive use of glass, excessive use of steel panels. They are unacceptable. And Western world is steeped in that, because they don't have options. Where else in the world? I'm saying with such conviction, with my heart, let me tell you that. India has the largest depository of natural building materials. I mean, it's an amazing vocabulary of building materials and technologies that we have. We are the best of human resources. So with that, can we bring back the legacy of construction back to it? This thing is my life question. I've been searching and pursuing that dream. And this is the basic difference between constructions that are happening. It's an impersonal statement of architecture and engineering that is happening elsewhere in the world. For us, it's a personal statement. That's the critical difference. I'll take one more question and then we'll wind up. Yeah.
Yes. Mini ma'am?
Yeah. So one question what I've seen is why the market is considering civil engineering as a waste. The question, and they are very much interested to know the answer from you.
Can you come back to me, Mini, again? Why?
Why people are considering civil engineering as waste?
Waste?
Yeah. It's a question from the one of the participants.
God, my God. Oh my God, I'm deeply touched by that question.
Market is thinking civil engineering is waste. What is the reason? And she is very much interested to know the answer. I think 2 or 3 times repeated that. I think you are the right person.
Yeah, let me tell you, I'm basically an architect, but I'm looking at the scope and potential and promise of civil engineering per se. I told you right in the beginning that whatever I say is with conviction. I don't sell dreams, and I don't want to paint a very rosy picture about civil engineering. What I'm trying to tell you is that we are going through difficult times, we are going to challenging times, and we are going through exciting development process. And civil engineering actually will take you to several fields of intervention. That is what I was talking about: environmental management, environmental intervention, disaster intervention, prefab technologies. These are emerging things that are happening. And on the other side, look at the marginalization that's happening. Look at the social scenario that is changing, impact of globalization of us, the new sustainable concerns that are emerging. We should also realize that at this point of time, we should realize that basically when you talk about the climate change, we are responsible for that. This is a time to reverse that trend. Civil engineers and architects are responsible for the building fabric, and as it is, we are also responsible for the climate change. And we have to come back to the basics, protect the nature, and that is why I consider civil engineering as much more potential, much more exciting, and much more meaningful than, I'm really amazed and pained when the question came as it's a waste of, no, it's never a waste. In fact, it's an asset. Not only an asset to the nation, asset to your family, asset to your nation, asset to the whole humanity. Let me tell you, asset to humanity. And that is why I'm telling you, because I walked this distance. I'm telling you out of my life experiences. And that's my answer to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for your informative and very inspiring talk. Really, all the participants are greatly benefited out of this talk. And on behalf of the Department of Civil Engineering and Amrita Vishwavidyapitham and the participants, express our sincere thanks to you. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for sharing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.